It's the Winter Solstice Extravaganza, a festival unlike any other in the world. Join us for 5 days and 5 nights in the Caribbean island of Antigua. Experience our beaches, our historic island tour, splendid accommodations, and our plant-based meal. And of course, the sunrise and the sunset hike to the Stonehenge of the Caribbean, Green Castle Hill, Mount Anu, amongst the megaliths that align with the stars. Reserve your spot today and join us from Wednesday the 18th to Sunday the 22nd of December 2024 for the Winter Solstice Extravaganza. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. From the dawn of humanity, the universe has provided for man and woman a plant of renown, the tree of life, the healing of the nation, cannabis sativa. From ganja pollen found in the tomb of Ramesses II to hemp fiber in the temple of Akhenaten, Confucius' canon of rites, the Rig Veda, and the writings of Zoroaster label cannabis as a sacred plant. Marijuana, Mafaizan in the Orient. It is the spiritual plant of Rastafari. The sacred mint, our sacrament. Definitely give thanks for your presence with us. Life giver and the keeper of life. Haile Selassie. Blessed evening to each and everyone. Give thanks to such a holy moment. Glorify the life giver and the keeper of life. Royal family, give thanks continually for your presence with us wherever you may be at this moment, at this time. Give thanks to the Nyabingi drum sound bringing us in such joy and happiness and melody. Give thanks, heartbeat, the rhythm of the soul, the rhythm of the universe, the rhythm, the redeem. That is why we play skillfully on our harps. We don't necessarily beat the drum. No one is beating no one here. That's when you go to the club. When you go to the club, they beat you. They beat you with the club. But the rhythm, the redeem. You know, this is not regular music that makes you sick. This is the redeem, the true redeem. Diabetes continually that refreshes the soul. Rastafari. Royal family, give thanks for your presence once again. Definitely in the zone. You're definitely in the tiger's nest. We glorify the Holy Trinity, Prophet, Priest, and King. Give thanks continually for each and everyone who is in the zone, in the nest. Honorable Priest Isaac, here with you, keeping joy, happiness, giving thanks for the celebration of Maskel, which is the 27th day of September, already taking place in Ethiopia from early on today. The celebration in Addis Ababa, in Maskel Square, in Tigray, in many parts of Ethiopia. In fact, we are going to give you a little, a little excerpt from the celebration that was taking place earlier today. In fact, it is still taking place in Ethiopia. The 27th day of September, usually celebrated as the day of Maskel. It would be a day difference when it is a leap year in the Western calendar. But basically, that is the day we pin on it, the 27th day of September the 26th. Of course, it's the 26th now, but it's the evening already. So the celebration is on, as Brother Saifa Selassie would have showed us. When it comes to these key dates, you have to give it the day before and the day after. It's like a 3-day session. And we did a beautiful program with that, brother, about 2-3 years ago, as it relates to Maskel and the Ethiopian king's list, as well as the rising of the star, Sirius. All of these programs are right there in the archives. Very easy to find. Just go on the YouTube channel and look for these programs, Lalibela and Sirius, the King's List,
and Cypher Selassie, and the video will come up. Very, very in-depth information that should definitely not be forgotten or gone to waste or anything. And we ourselves might replay that and put that up at some time, especially in a season like now. But family, what we're going to do and give thanks to the Nile being yard of moving all obstacles out of the way. Remember, this is the Tiger's Nest radio program. We are premiering this one live and direct on the radio and TV. Giving thanks to all those who are joining us. It is a great honor. Just a joy for those who, those who have taken the time to sit with us, and those who always take the time to sup with us. We're thankful for your presence and your energy and the love that you share internationally. Give thanks continually. What we're going to do this evening, I'm going to touch upon some word sounds that was I was privy to hear from one of the great grandchildren of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First, one Joel Mokenen. And his words were that, the emperor himself, as it relates to his history, it is as if there is almost a conspiracy, really, an agenda to tarnish his reputation, an agenda to tarnish his name. And from his perspective, he is going to do what he can. In fact, he's already doing what he can do to somewhat bring the truth out, especially beginning with the Ethiopian people, because he realized that the Ethiopian people themselves do not have that understanding of who the emperor is. In fact, many of them despise the emperor. Many of them, because of lack of knowledge and because of even propaganda within themselves. We have spoken about this several times. In fact, within just the recent past, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had programs directly dealing with the internal, tensions that you have in the Horn of Africa, not just Ethiopia, but in the Horn of Africa. And so you have an understanding why what people may want to call tribal tension, tribal war, etc., ethnic disagreement, if you want to say. So in reality, if you are not of the people of Haile Selassie and these people here, Menelik, if you're not these people here, you don't really make it your business to try to teach that culture to your people. It's just a reality. If they hear about it, they hear about it. But that's not our thing. That's not in our curriculum. These are the fellas that overthrew Johannes. Yeah, so we'll tell you about Johannes, but we ain't going to tell you about what's that other fella named Menelik. In fact, it's Menelik's fault why we're in all of this trouble now today. In fact, if Menelik did run the Italians all the way out of the Horn of Africa, Eritrea would be happily with Ethiopia today, and everything would have been all right. It's that Menelik. And then when the other one came, what's his name? Haile Selassie. And then they wanted all of us to speak Amharic. And this is why most of us have to speak Amharic up to today. Now, these are things that you would hear them say. I'm not even just reenacting it. That's just the reality. So it's not really at the top of the agenda, to be teaching your children now. Now take your books out and turn to the page, and we're going to speak about the Solomonic dynasty and all the good works that Haile Selassie would have done between 1930 and 1974. Who knows where the dam was set up that Haile Selassie built to give electricity to over 70% of Ethiopia. This is not something that is going to be specifically encouraged, but Brother Joel Muhammad now, Prince Joel Muhammad, from what we will be hearing, his idea is that we need to get this history out. You understand what I'm saying? We need to get this knowledge to the people. We need to get this information, which is something we as Rastafari has always been advocating for. So it is good that you have ones within that royal realm, the royal family, and it's not as if the information is not coming from other aspects of the royal family. You have Asfa Wasson, who wrote the book, not Asfa Wasson the son, but Asfa Wasson Asarate, who would have written, I think, several books on His Imperial Majesty. I also highlight the documentary done by the princesses. Grandpa was an emperor, but the angle that I'm getting from Prince Joel McKinnon is more of an angle of like getting the propaganda totally out of the way, and let us tell the real truth and nothing but the truth. Let's get it clear and move on from there. And he has the whole idea of putting it in documentary film, in book form, of which he would have already begun such a process. He was even calling out for individuals anywhere in the world who think that they could add to this vision that he has, to even reach out to him. So that might even be your opportunity if you share that vision with him as well. So we're going to get into a little of that. Definitely giving thanks again for each and everyone who is partaking with us. But what I'm going to do, as promised, we are going to take in just a bit of the Orthodox Church celebration. Yes, this is a presentation. This is from a bit earlier now. This is a presentation here given by the Archbishop himself, the Abuna of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and this would be in Maskel Square, if I am correct. Give thanks, the Tigers. It is in Amharic, by the way.
ጊዜያዊ ሳይሆን ዘላለማዊ ነውና ነው። ይህም በመሆኑ ቁሳዊ የሆነው ዕፀ መስቀል ቢቀብሩም እሱ የተሸከመው መስቀላዊ ቃለ ድህነት በረቂቅ የሰው አእምሮ የተቀረጸና የተዘገበ ስለነበረ ተቀብሮ ሊቀር አልቻለም። ከጊዜ በኋላ ያልተቀበረው የመስቀሉ ቃለ ድህነት በንግሥት ኢሌኒ አእምሮ ውስጥ የእምነት ኃይል ተቀጣጥሎ የተቀበረውን ዕፀ መስቀል በዛሬው ቀን ከጥልቅ ጉድጓድ አውጥቷል። በዚህም አሸናፊነቱን አረጋግጧል። ዛሬ የምናከብረው በዓልም ይኸው ኃይለ እግዚአብሔርን ለማሰብ ከሱ ያለን እምነትንም ለማስጠበቅ ቃለ ድህነቱንም ለመመስከርና ለማስረጽ ነው። መስቀል ኃያልና አሸናፊ ቢሆንም ረቂቁንም ግዙፍንም ጠላት የሚያሸንፈው በሐቅና በሰላም ሕሊናን በመርታት እና በማሳመን እንጂ እንደ ቁሳዊ ኃይል አይደለምና። እነሆ ዕፀ መስቀሉ በዛሬው ዕለት በኃይለ እግዚአብሔር በታጀበ ጢሰ ዕጣን ከተቀበረበት ጉድጓድ በሰላም ሊወጣ ችለዋል። ክቡራን የበዓሉ ታዳሚዎች፣ የመስቀሉ ቃል ዛሬም ተቃራኒ ኃይል
And pardon me, for those who may not understand, it's not going to be that long. In fact, he's almost done. But for those who can comprehend, pardon me again.
ተቃራኒ ኃይል አላጣም። ዛሬም ለመስቀሉ ቃል ጀርባቸውን የሚሰጡ ሰዎች ብዙ ናቸው። ከዚህም የተነሳ ስጋቱ፣ ጭንቀቱ፣ ግጭቱ፣ አለመተማመኑ በዓለማችን ከምን ጊዜውም በላይ ተንሰራፍተዋል። ሀገራችንም ከዚህ የተለየች ልትሆን አልቻለችም። በዓለ መስቀሉን ከማንኛውም ክፍለ ዓለም በተለየ ስነ ስርዓት ብናከብርም የመስቀሉ ሰላም በሀገራችንና በሕዝባችን እየተነበበ አይደለም። ይህንንም ለማስገንዘብ የሚተላለፈውን መልእክት እየተደመጠ አይመስልም። የመስቀሉ ቃል ማለት ሰዎች በነፍሳቸውም ሆነ በስጋቸው የተሟላ ደህንነት ያግኙ ማለት ነው። የመስቀሉ ቃል ማለት የሰዎች ሃይማኖታዊ ነፃነት ይከበር፣ በህይወት የመኖር ሰብአዊ መብታቸውም ይጠበቅ ማለት ነው። የመስቀሉ ቃል ማለት ሰዎች በዚች ምድር በእኩልነትና በአንድነት በመተጋገዝ በመረዳዳት በፍትሃዊ የሀብት ክፍፍል በሰላም በፍቅር በስምምነትና በመከባበር ይኑሩ ማለት ነው። የመስቀሉ ቃል ማለት የሰው ሕይወት በዚህ ዓለም የተገደበ አይደለም። ዘላለማዊ በሆነው መንፈሳዊ ዓለምም ሕይወት በቋሚነት ይቀጥላልና እግዚአብሔርን ፍሩ፣ ለእርሱም ታዘዙ፣ ለእርሱም ታዘዙና ተገዙ ማለት ነው። የመስቀሉ ቃል ማለት ኢየሱስ ክርስቶስ በመስቀል ላይ ባፈሰሰው ደሙ የመዳን ዕድል ተከፍቶላችኋልና በደሙ ታጥባችሁ ወደ እግዚአብሔር መንግሥት ግቡ ማለት ነው። ይህንንም የመስቀል ቃል ዓለም ብትቀበለው ኑሮ በየጊዜው እያንጃበበባት ያለው ስጋት ሁሉ ቦታ አይኖረውም ነበር። አሁንም በመስቀሉ ስም ለዓለም ሕዝብም ሆነ ለሀገራችን ዜጎች ሁሉ የምናስተላልፈው አብይ መልእክት የመስቀሉ ቃል ሁላችንንም በእኩልነት በፍቅር የሚያስተናግድ ነውና እሱን እንቀበል። የዓለም ስጋቶች በሙሉ የዓለም ስጋቾች በሙሉ ሊቀረፉ የሚችሉም በመስቀሉ ኃይል ብቻ ነውና የሚል ነው። በመጨረሻም ባለፉት ዓመታት ሲፈታተኑን የቆዩ ዙሪያ መለስ ችግሮች መስቀሉ ባስተማረን ሰላማዊ መንገድ እልባት እንዲያገኝና ሕዝባችን ያለምንም ስጋት ወጥቶ እንዲገባ ሰርቶ እንዲያተርፍ ተምሮ እንዲያውቅ ሃይማኖቱን በነፃነት እንዲከተል መንግስትና ኢትዮጵያውያን ሁሉ ለዘላቂ ሰላምና አንድነት አበክረው እንዲሰሩ በእግዚአብሔር ስም ጥሪያችንን እናስተላልፋለን። እግዚአብሔር የተባረከና የተቀደሰ በዓል ያድርግልን። አምላክ ኢትዮጵያና ሕዝብ አሜን። መስከረም 17 ቀን 2017 ዓመተ ምህረት አዲስ አበባ ኢትዮጵያ።
All right, give thanks. It was nice and it's good to see what's taking place. I think the priests are going to start the thing there.
Maskel berane
Maskel.
kullu alem masara
መስቀል ብርሃን ለኩሉ ዓለም መሰረተ ቤተ ክርስቲያን መስቀል ብርሃን
ብፁዕ ወቅዱስ አባታችን ቡራኬዎ ይድረሰን። Your Holiness, may your blessing be upon us all. ከዚህ በመቀጠል የክብርት አዳነች አቤቤ የአዲስ አበባ ከተማ አስተዳደር
And as I said, we definitely give thanks, and that was from a bit earlier, and should be still streaming live. Give thanks, all courtesy of ETV. And of course, that's the Maskel celebration taking place there in Ethiopia. For those who may not know of such a celebration, just to give you a simple run-up, as it says there, it is of the story of Queen Helena, which is a controversial story within itself. And that is the discussion that we would have had even on the round table as well, as it relates to Queen Helena. This Queen Helena now is actually the of Constantine, his mother, and she would have discovered the cross of which Christ was crucified on. She lit 3 bonfires, and the bonfires led her to where the cross was, and that aspects of that cross was brought back to Ethiopia by a specific king. And Maskel is celebrated in Ethiopia. It's one of those celebrations that is almost unique to Ethiopia alone. The other one is Timkat. I don't think any other church, even an Orthodox church, would celebrate either Timkat. They may celebrate the baptism, but not in the Timkat and the and Maskel, the commemoration of the finding of the true cross of Christ. So if an individual knows otherwise, you can edify me. You know, we're here to teach one another. That's what it's really all about. And I appreciate those who have that insight. So for those who are deep in Maskel, I'm a strong advocate for Maskel, the 27th day of September, because within its celebration, of which we're going to get into something about that right now, within its celebration is the coming into a certain level of dynamics of Haile Selassie I. Do you know it's really the 27th day of September where the emperor got the title Ras, where he really became Ras. And even this is when Empress Zaditu really became empress. And like most cases, the day they become the authorities is different than the day they went through the ceremony of coronation, etc. So good. The coronation was when, I think it's the 11th of February. So, but by the 27th of September, follow me good, 1916, Rastafari became the Deshmark Tafari. The Deshmark Tafari became Rastafari, pardon me, which is now the regent. And many ones would argue that it was from that time, 1916, you know, not 1930. From 1916, when he became Ras, ones would argue that it is from that time the emperor began to rule Ethiopia, even before he was emperor. And even when you understand and you read his own autobiography, it clearly shows you that Emperor Zaditu would have clearly given all powers to him. Yet still, because of ranks and titles, there was still a lot of pushback and a lot of tug of war that Haile Selassie had to deal with. You know that history until he became, if you want to say, the supreme leader himself as Haile Selassie the first. So again, it was on that day, the 27th day of September. So the 27th day of September is mystic 12 o'clock midday. You have the Southern Cross, the Southern Cross, the crux would be perfectly in alignment with that same Lalibela temple. You understand? This thing is so deep and so powerful when we understand even the whole makeup of the heavens and the earth. So when Lalibela the Great, Gabriel Maskel himself, put that church where he put it in alignment again with the same Southern Cross. This ain't no Greek cross business, and Jesus Christ and no cross. Don't give us no fable story. We talking about the heavens declaring the glory of the Most High God. We're talking about right ascension and declination and perfect calculation of coordinates of celestial objects with date and time, 27th day of September, aligning perfectly with the Rock Cross Church of Kenos Girugis. So this ain't no religion. This ain't no belief. Oh, Rasta the day with them, Rasta the day with them, the Rasta, burn out fire. They ain't no real baba. They ain't no real baba. They ain't no Emmanuel soldier. Rasta the deal with them. Them is graven images. Rasta the deal with carve out no church. Rasta the deal a cross. Rasta one cross. Yeah, enough Rasta burn up themselves. Yeah. Do you know what's a real priest? In the real world, a priest must be able to understand the heavens. Think this is a game? Give thanks to Gabriel Maskel, King Lalibela, and how he situated such monuments to declare the heavens. And again, as Brother Cypher would have showed us, the alignment with the star Sirius and the connection with the King's List. Yeah. Give thanks, man. This is no joke. This is why I was saying in that previous program, we be wasting time. We think too many distractions with these little ground conversations, these arguing over foolishness with little people when the heavens is there opening. So the 27th day of September, Rastafari, is a day of depths, differently than Queen Helena. Sometimes I believe these are some fables that have been created. You know what I mean? These fables have been created to surround these very significant, highly ancient Afrocentric days. And remember, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, all due respect, in some ways have seen, and even the brothers that represent the church cities, even down to our Abba here, disagreed with the Abuna that you just saw, who said that Christ and his mother were white people. The Abba right here in Antigua said he disagreed with that. So again, with no disrespect to the church or any of you who are members of the church, but the church, that Orthodox church for sure would have some hand in leading away that depths of understanding when it comes to the science of connecting the theology with the universe. And I brought it to just, you know what I mean, milquetoast religion. So Helena and the fires that she light and the fire leader to the cross. And that's Helena, you know, Constantine mommy, talking about they find cross somewhere in Golgotha or Jerusalem, wherever they find it, the old rugged cross. Give thanks to the true cross of Christ, who became Ras, who came to bear the cross on the 27th of September. That's when the cross came. The true cross of Christ. The cross of Christ is a man for real. The true cross of Christ came to bear the cross. That's why he went into the underworld, into the Amenta from the 5th of May to the 5th of May. 36 to 41, 5 years, 5th day, 5th month, 5 bleeding wounds. And when you understand, when you comprehend what that period was all about, one's mock it and act as if it's a joke, and they could not even skin their teeth if the King of Kings didn't bear and carry that cross for all of us, the same cross, the Maskel, to celebrate the day he became, if you don't want to celebrate the cross part, he became Ras on this day. Yes, Ras. We say we're Rastafari. So the same Rastafari that we are, that name became a name on this day, the 27th of September. Celebrate. So my family, man, even those on YouTube, those in the chat, don't be distracted by these caveman minded, back in the don't exist, primitive mentality, full of nothing. You don't even know who some of them are. People talking foolishness and hiding under all sorts of aliases. You don't even know them. You don't know how their voice sound. Never see a picture of them. You don't know if they're a he, a she, a it. And we have them distracting us when the real lesson is coming out. They ain't doing nothing nowhere. No one can call them and ask them to do anything for them to assist them in this liberation. So don't waste time with some of them. Any moment we block them, we don't know who they are. They may be an it. They may be some sort of queer sodomite just trying to pretend they're saying something. Talking about the burning fire and bubble this and bubble that. Yeah, so royal family, don't be distracted. That's another trick of the devil. Don't be distracted. You pay attention to the teachings. Now, what I want to show you, and give thanks to Maskel, give thanks to the commemoration of the finding of the true cross of Christ. Yeah, talking about Haile Selassie the first, Rastafari, the true cross of Christ. That is the finding of the true cross of Christ on the 27th day of September, 1916. When I say 1916, and I will show you how that is so deep in a few moments. I hope you have time tonight. Yeah, man, definitely holding a good meditation. Now, Brother Joel McKenna, is the brother, of the royal family. He is an attorney. He really grew up, well, I think he was born in Italy. I think he spent some time in Germany and Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken. But he had a European upbringing. And because he's young, he's the great-grandchild of the king. And I think his grandfather was the king's son that died in the car crash. You understand? And his father, the king's grandson, would have fled during the time of the uprising. So you have an understanding of how the story goes. So he would have really been born like some of us outside. He, like some of us, would have been born outside of our home. He was born in Italy. Some of us were born in Trinidad. You understand? And some of us were born in Barbados and Jamaica, isn't it? So he was born in Italy, but yet still now he has held on, because remember, it's many of them, he has held on to his Ethiopian roots. He would have returned to Ethiopia, and he's back and forth. He lives in the US, really. He's an attorney, what you would consider a successful attorney. He would have returned to Ethiopia and would have taken charge as such of some of the projects that the royal family would have started, one being a hotel, a specific hotel that the imperial family would have established in Addis Ababa. think he would have refurbished it and have it now as a luxurious, how many stars, ever stars it has, but he's doing some great works with that hotel and some other projects. And as I was saying earlier, one of the main themes that he seems to have is the, straightening out the history as such, as it relates to Emperor Haile Selassie I. Now, everyone knows that Marcus Garvey, Haile Selassie, and to be honest, when it comes to Pan-Africanism on a whole, sacred days like African Liberation Day, and these things, Black Power, these things, it is Rastafari that would have kept these things alive in the minds of the world. The knowledge of Marcus Messiah Garvey. I mean, this is a project by the wicked world to make sure nobody knows about Marcus Garvey. This is a project of the wicked world to make sure nobody knew nothing about Haile Selassie. They try to put propaganda on Haile Selassie in the same way they do Idi Amin. But after a while, they say, hey, it's all right. Don't say nothing about him. Just stop talking about him. Let's see if we can find some people to put in front of him. Father of Africa, Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, yeah. Elder statesman, Nelson Mandela. They find people. No, this ain't no joke. This is the reality. They find people to put in the place of Haile Selassie, so you don't know anything about him. Idi Amin, oh, let's just turn him into a monster. I tell you already that wrestling character that they call Kamala, the Ugandan giant, and the man that played Kamala actually named Harris, it's Kamala Harris, the man name, yeah. And he died just like 2 days before Kamala Harris was chosen to be the vice president. But that's the next story all by itself. You know what I mean? But we did that video. You can go and check it. It's right there about 2 months ago. So yeah, but the reality is Kamala was a mockery. I'm talking about the wrestler, the Ugandan giant, for those who know what I'm talking about. It was a mockery of Idi Amin. So they mocked Idi Amin. They turned him into the butcher of Uganda. They turned him into this tyrant. They used to love him, eh? Oh yeah, just like Robert Mugabe. Oh, he was the darling. Come on, you don't touch Robert. But Robert said, hey, listen, the brothers need their farms, and you people don't seem to be cooperating, so we're going to take some farmland from you. He's Satan returned. You understand? So they do that kind of stuff. So in the case of Haile Selassie, from my perspective, it appears to be, don't say nothing. Just keep quiet. No, don't say nothing. Don't say, well, he was a wicked. Don't say nothing. Don't say shit. Forget about it. Forget about it. Just be quiet. Just don't bring him up. Well, we're going to do a documentary on Mussolini. Who? Mussolini? Shh. Don't do that. Why? If you talk about Mussolini, it's very hard not to talk about Haile Selassie. In fact, I was watching a documentary the other evening, and it was on Mussolini for real. 1 hour and 30 minutes, the documentary. And I watched it from beginning to end. And they were talking about how Mussolini and how he linked up with Hitler, how he came to power, how he went through World War II, and how he died. And this documentary was skillful. It did what I thought could not be done. The documentary went through 1 hour and 30 minutes and did not mention Mussolini's campaign in Ethiopia. I didn't say it left out Haile Selassie. The documentary did not mention Mussolini's campaign in Ethiopia, and it was 1 hour and 30 minutes, speaking of his from his birth to his death. And and highlighting, I would say, his campaign, his war campaign, his military campaign. Yeah, in Libya, they're talking about different parts of the world. Totally leave out Ethiopia, all in Somalia, and they leave out the Ethiopian campaign. And that is just to show you how necessary it is for them to leave out the history of Haile Selassie I. I want to go to Brother Joel McKinnon. I have a lot more to say on this subject, but for sure, I would like you to hear his outlook as it relates to the Ethiopian perspective on history at this moment and where Haile Selassie I fits in, and just what he thinks he can contribute to it. Hey, you're definitely listening to a special edition of the Tiger's Nest right here on Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. And we are definitely touching and premiering this one with Radio Anu TV, which is the YouTube channel for those who are watching on the YouTube channel. For those in the chat, give thanks for all your comments. For those who are definitely just looking on, of course, you know, we're asking you to share the link with a friend, and of course, press all of those buttons that you know you're supposed to press, and comment and do everything you know you're supposed to do. Give thanks. This is Brother Joel McKinnon.
Get to know my people and learn the language and live here. And so at that point is I feel when the memory and the resurgence kind of weighed more on me now, knowing the long history that we have, you know, 1,000-year-old, thousands of years history. Now I feel it's a responsibility almost, and carrying this legacy so that it's not forgotten. I know that the emperor has a very divisive or divided memory. And I'm not asking people to love him or hate him. Some people have their own opinions, but all I want is at least that we keep talking about it and that we do not forget it. So that's the responsibility I feel with this legacy.
Of his ancestral roots.
It's not always easy. Certainly living in this modern life and having been really cut off from our homeland all this time and just now reconnecting with it, I feel like is a question that not just myself, but a lot of my cousins ponder over of my generation about how to reconcile with this history and how to move forward today. And I think that the best way I found is to actually combine the two, my legacy and my personal aspirations. And that's why now one of my big motivations and missions is to tell the story of my great-grandfather, tell stories about Ethiopia and our people, so that the generations after and the next will still have access to these stories. So I feel like that's how I can be in service to this legacy and continuing it forward.
You understand that? That's how he see that he can contribute to the legacy. That's a beautiful thing. That's a real beautiful thing. To get the right history, get the story correct, and put it in a way, I mean, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but put it in a way that even the youth would be gravitated to it and say, yeah, I would like a taste of that. And that's what it's all about, you know. That's why Honorable King Emmanuel teaches us to put the food in the children's reach, where the children can get the food. So basically, it is something of that nature that is really taking place there. This is wonderful.
Do you think there's been a fair sort of telling of...
And let me be clear again, this is an excerpt all courtesy of Dink TV.
Fair sort of telling of the emperor?
I think...
Do you think there's been a fair sort of telling of the emperor? Do you think there's been a fair sort of telling of the emperor?
I think there's definitely more that can be said. Obviously, as I was saying, I'm not here to just whitewash history. If people have had issues with this history, let's talk about it. There's some good, there's some bad, but that's how a people move forward. Is if you have the lessons from your history, you can continue what was good and then get rid of what was bad. In terms of the emperor, I do think that his portrayal has been really slated towards negative. There's been a big effort over the years to tarnish his legacy and really just focus on all of the negative things that have happened. But I sincerely believe objectively that he has actually provided many great things for the country. He really loved the country. And so that's why I want to just make sure that there's a fair treatment of him. And then we can debate, you know, whether you love him or hate him or disagree, criticize. That's what, strong society does, is you deal with your past and see how you can move forward in a better way.
That's very beautiful. And then we can debate. We're ready to debate. But that's beautiful. And he clearly understands, as I was saying a moment ago, that the legacy, the history of Haile Selassie I, they have tried to tarnish it. And this, again, is from inside and out. Let me just go to the inside for a moment, just so that the royal family can really comprehend what we are speaking about. And I may have been reenacting it a bit earlier as such, but the reenaction was reality. This is how a lot of people think. And the history, it is how the history is told as well. Now, we did a series of programs, Royal Family. Those of you who may be new to this program here, this is the Tiger's Nest. This is a radio program, a radio animal, talking about priestisaacinstitute.com. You never visited the Institute website, the link is in the description below, priestisaacinstitute.com. Now, I'm showing you that the Tiger's Nest program comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on radio at 7 p.m. sharp. Now, we did a series of programs. We were highlighting a specific documentary, beautiful documentary, done by the Tigrayan people, and they were highlighting their perspective on the war with them and the Central Ethiopian government. And it's just reality. I mean, I'm not, I haven't lived amongst what they're talking about. And they have some different gripes within them. They have gripes even with history that they were not around when this history was taking place. I'm talking about history that goes as far back as Johannes the Fourth. Johannes the Fourth. You sit down with a Tigrayan that really understands the difference between them and the Amhara people and the Oroma people and all of that. And you say, elder man, what's the problem? He will tell you, well, listen, in 1872, when King Johannes came to power, you hear what he said? You hear what he said? In 1872, and a lot of them will start from there. So the fact that you have to begin there, because remember, in fact, some will begin before that, because blame is also put on Tuardos II. We just did a program on that guy, King Tuardos II, and well, around the Empress Menen program, Empress Menen, the first Empress Menen. And we're showing you that now a lot of ones blame him for trying to, which he did, unite most of the northern region. And then Menelik II came in and really, in a sense, finished the job, which still it wasn't done. But that's the next level of geopolitical history to get into. So they're academics that understand this history here, and they put their opinion to the history. They would say, well, Menelik should have left us alone. But you see, if you read Haile Selassie's autobiography properly, Haile Selassie shows you before the time of the kings there, Zemene Mesifent, what you call it, the ages of the princes, before the time that somewhat anarchy in Ethiopia. Ethiopia, as we know it today, existed before. You read the king's autobiography properly. In fact, Haile Selassie said what Menelik did was to reunite Ethiopia to the stage or status that it was prior to that period, which is the period of the age of the princes. So those who didn't understand their history in the 17th and 1800s and the 1900s didn't understand and comprehend that in the 16 and the 1500s, there were more unity amongst the whole Horn of Africa. That's why they're still trying to figure out where is Puntland. So Tuerdos understood that. That's why he called himself that, because he said he was fulfilling a prophecy to come and unite his people. So those who got accustomed to being, afar in their little corner. Those who got accustomed to be Gala in their little corner. Those who got accustomed to be Amhara or Somali, because they have a big problem with the Ethiopians, even the Somalis in Ethiopia, as if you just came and took over our land. And this is something going back to the time of Menelik II, at least. And that's another thing, because you gotta keep in mind that when Rasmokenen would have ruled over this part, not just Harar, the city, but the Harar province, you understand? He would have, it's enough love he would have received. This is well known in history that the people of Harar love Rasmokenen, love Haile Selassie when he was the governor of Harar. So this disdain that people fuel sometimes, you have to be careful. Of course, there will be some level of, hey man, you kind of drew a borderline between us and the rest of our people. But it wasn't Menelik II that did that. It was the same Italians that came in to barricade Menelik II from reaching to the sea, you know. But I mean, it's African land, get out. And that created the Somalia and the Somali land as such. Well, more than Somalia that you know today. I wonder if you comprehend what I'm saying. It's good to understand these things, you know, historically, you know, and that's why I'm telling you, even the students here, you know, that's why we have different levels of these classes, you know. We bring this to YouTube sometime, but we have this on the radio and people subscribe to this, so we don't entertain people that are just ignorant and want to be ignorant all day long. Just chatting. That's why they call this stuff a chatting. Chatting, and not saying anything. So for those who are paying attention, those who are in the front of the class, you can realize now and understand how complex it can get. So this is why now, in the society of, let's just say the Tigrayan society there, it's not on the top of the list to teach of the glory of Menelik II. It's not on the top of the list to teach of the glory of Emperor Haile Selassie I. So even when they had that amalgamated government as such, if you want to call it that, from the different ethnic groups and so, you know, after the time of the Derg, and I mean, obviously during the time of the Derg, you're not going to get that teachings, even though the Derg, if I'm not mistaken, was highly basically of the same people of Haile Selassie I. And outside of just being Amhara and Aroma, there's a strong mixture of both those two ethnic groups, from my understanding, in Ethiopia too. It's almost like a group by themselves. So during the time of the Derg, they overthrew the monarchy, isn't it? So there wasn't no heavy lessons on Haile Selassie and his glory. And then after they were overthrown, and again, it was like a strongly more so a Tigrayan-led assault on the Derg that overthrew them. And same way again, when that collaboration, let me use that term, of the different ethnic groups came together in that new Ethiopian age, the King of Kings and the monarch and the dynastic period never came back on the table as, hey, listen, man, this is important history. So again, we must say enough respect to Brother Joel McKinnon. And Brother Joel McKinnon is reaching out. You heard his words there too. He knows that this is a part of his duty to really get the Ethiopian history correct and to put it on the table so everyone can appreciate it. You know, he knows that Haile Selassie loved all the people and worked for the benefit of everyone, you know, and he's even reaching out. As I said, this came from a documentary on Dink TV. You should check it out. Check out the full documentary on Dink TV on Joel McKinnon, and you would see, I think it's more at the end of the documentary, he's reaching out to those who are into maybe movie making, documentary making, and writing books, especially if you have a love for the emperor. So that would come in our domain as Rastafari. We for sure have a love for the emperor, and there's so many academics and scholars amongst us, you comprehend. And here we have someone from the royal family. He's easy to find. You can locate him on social media for sure. You have a member of the royal family reaching out, saying that, you know, he thinks that it is his duty as well to promote the truth, and reaching out to those who want to. Let's just listen to it again so you get a good understanding of his outlook.
Get to know my people and learn the language and live here. And so at that point is, I feel, when the memory and the resurgence kind of weighed more on me now, knowing the long history that we have, you know, 1,000-year-old, thousands of years history. Now I feel it's a responsibility almost, and carrying this legacy so that it's not forgotten. I know that the emperor has a very divisive or divided memory. And I'm not asking people to love him or hate him. Some people have their own opinions, but all I want is at least that we keep talking about it and that we do not forget it. So that's the responsibility I feel with this legacy.
Of his ancestral roots.
It's not always easy. Certainly living in this modern life and having been really cut off from our homeland all this time and just now reconnecting with it, I feel like is a question that not just myself, but a lot of my cousins ponder over, of my generation, about how to reconcile with this history and how to move forward today. And I think that the best way I found is to actually combine the two, my legacy and my personal aspirations. And that's why now one of my big motivations and missions is to tell the story of my great-grandfather, tell stories about Ethiopia and our people, so that the generations after and the next will still have access to these stories. So I feel like that's how I can be in service to this legacy and continuing it forward.
Do you think there's been a fair sort of telling of the emperor?
I think there's definitely more that can be said. Obviously, as I was saying, I'm not here to just whitewash history. If people have had issues with this history, let's talk about it. There's some good, there's some bad, but that's how people move forward. Is if you have the lessons from your history, you can continue what was good and then get rid of what was bad. In terms of the emperor, I do think that his portrayal has been really slated towards negative. There's been a big effort over the years to tarnish his legacy and really just focus on all of the negative things that have happened. But I sincerely believe objectively that he has actually provided many great things for the country. He really loved the country. And so that's why I want to just make sure that there's a fair treatment of him. And then we can debate, you know, whether you love him or hate him or disagree, criticize. That's what, strong society does, is you deal with your past and see how you can move forward in a better way.
I'm going to give thanks once again. Talking talking about Tiger's Nest in full effect right here, Radio Anu.
The king of love, my shepherd.
Well, family, let me remind you, remember you have until basically this weekend to get the offer of 50% off as it relates to advertising with us in our next edition of the magazine Kidemi. First of all, for those of you who have not seen the magazine Kidemi, well, of course, visit our website. Those on Radio Anu, you have obviously seen Kidemi. Those of you observing us on the YouTube and watching for the first time and all of that, just press the link in the description below and you will see the magazine Kidemi. Definitely full of joy, full of inspiration, full of melody, full of information. And as I said, the next edition of Kidemi will be the 21st day of December, which of course is the winter solstice. So I'm inviting all of you who want to put your business in the next upcoming edition of Kidemi. Remember, as I said, you have until the middle of October to contact us, but we have a special that will come to an end at the end of September, 50% off. So if you want a full page like this page here for the Anu ad, you can get it at 50% off. If you want one of these quarter page like this Tutankhamun face thing here, you can get that too. But that's 50% off. If you want one of these little squares like what you see back ahead in here, you can get that too. Nice price and 50% off. Yeah, you can get anything, your videos, everything. The video is slightly different with the 50% off. But as far as your space, you can get it 50% off. But that is until the end of September, the end of the month. So you know what to do. Everyone knows what to do. You contact us, Priest as an Institute at gmail.com. Let me know, hey, I would like to advertise in the next upcoming edition of Kidemi. And the time is short. Well, you have time because you have until the middle of October. So you have time. But if you want half, whatever the price is, you don't even know the price, we will obviously send you the information. But whatever the price is, it could be $1, it could be $1 million. The point is, it's going to be half the price if you definitely contact us before the end of September. Definitely beautiful, and be a part of the next. And remember, family, this has already reached thousands upon thousands, over 20,000 subscribers to Kidemi. Don't forget it. And we're talking about internationally. And of course, my audience here is an international audience. So whatever you're pushing, especially if it's something digital, especially if it is something people can order, especially if it's something that you can do online, especially if it's something in hospitality and you want people to come to you. Yeah, I'm talking about advertising in the upcoming edition of Kidemi. You see a nice